Hello, I am Jessica from Richie Sales, and here we are with Alexa from AHR Designs and Sarah with Styled by Storms. Thanks for being here with me today. I'm so excited.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Oh my God, of course. Well, I had the idea of doing this designer spotlight. The whole intent behind it was really to invite collaboration, have honest and open conversations with designers, and just talk about what's happening in the industry, sharing some tips and tricks. And so the fact that both of you have your own independent businesses, but you're willing to even sit here with me today, I thought was super interesting. So I wanted to talk a little bit about briefly how you came into design and when you two met, and then a little bit about how you work together beyond just being friends or going to, walking around together at market.
Yeah, thanks.
My name is Alexa Harris Ralff with AHR Designs, and I've been at this almost 15 years,
Wow.
which is crazy. I went back to school. My daughter was in kindergarten. She's now in college. From a previous career of doing commercials and voiceovers, I was a theater kid, always a creative. Loved to paint and draw and do all the things, but I always found the theater community was more social, and I loved being with people. And I thought design was isolating. So then I became a designer, and all of a sudden, yeah, it was true. I was isolated.
Okay.
So I sort of chose to create community. I just think we're better together. I love being in like a little think tank. I love a water cooler moment. Sarah and I, she'll tell her story, but we have a joke that I was like the only one who was nice to her. I was like, come on, come to this event, come do this. And she's returned that in like tenfold in terms of community, friendship. It's actually been really special and amazing. So I could cry. Anyways, it's really sweet.
Hi, I'm Sarah Storms of Styled by Storms. I have a fine art degree in interior design from James Madison University, and I was going to be an interior designer and an architect. And I lived abroad in Vienna, which was completely life-changing from a style perspective, life perspective as a 20-year-old college student. And I say that I let myself get scared one time in my life, and this grumpy old architect was like, "You'll never make any money doing this." And so after I graduated, I was like, "I'm never going to make any money. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go into fashion where you really make no money." And so then I was in luxury fashion for 20 years, almost 14 years at Ralph Lauren. And I developed women's black label, men's purple label, runway, color palettes, fabrics, international productions. And so I have a really extensive background in all of that. And, at one point before I was pregnant with my boys, I thought about going back into the field, and then I got pregnant, and I was like, I need to figure out how to make my job in fashion more creative. I was there, fast forward COVID, and, I was furloughed, and it was kind of like, what am I going to do? And when I was let go, I had a year severance, and my husband was like, this is your time. Like, you've been talking about going into interiors since we've been together forever, and it's it. This, like, you have a golden parachute. So let's see what happens, right? So I started my business officially January of 21, and it's been crazy. Great, good. And again, coming from corporate design, I'm used to having people to talk to about things, having my work wife, having somebody who I'm going to lunch with, doing all these different things. And so it was very isolating, and COVID was isolating. And so it wasn't like there was events that you could actively go to. And so Alexa and I actually met at the airport in Greensboro at Market.
Yes.
Through one of our
4 years ago?
Yeah, I think so. And I had met another rep here who was from our community in New Jersey, and Paul was like, "Oh, you have to meet Alexa, Sarah." Like, we kind of had hit it off, and so then I was at the airport, and Paul and Alexa come strolling down, and he was like, "Oh, this is perfect, Alexa. This is Sarah, who I was telling you about. Sarah, this is Alexa," and that's how we met. And then it kind of started off slow, like, we would see each other a couple things, and then we've slowly built this little group.
We have a little group chat.
Yep. And then a year ago at Spring Market, we were friendly, like her daughter babysits for my kids and, this kind of stuff. Last Spring Market, and I'm talking too much, I'll go to you. Last Spring Market, we were waiting in the Raleigh airport to fly home. And right before we were boarding our plane, our flight was canceled with a great crazy message. And the people at the desk said, "Your flight's been canceled. There's rental cars downstairs. We wish you the best of luck." And so Alexa booked a car. I went to get my luggage. We ran it down. We got a car and we drove home from market together. And we are like forever sealed as best friends.
That's true.
And so it's like
a good road trip.
A good road trip. And so and I think the best part is like in this little group of community we created, there really is zero gatekeeping. And it is a group of 8 interior designers, all of us in the same town, all of us saying, we live in Maplewood / South Orange, New Jersey. And, you know, it's all like, help, I'm having this kind of an issue. And all of us are like, this is what we would do, or this, here's this idea. All of us independent businesses, all of us believing the same thing, that we all rise together. There's enough work for everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of my favorite too is even just, I always joke, it's like, okay, I know I saw that light. Remember it had, I noticed it had that, I told you guys it had like those 5 crystals. Where's it from? And like, we'll text and like 5 minutes later, someone's like, oh, it was in that showroom, or they'll send a picture. So even just having, it's almost like you have like a backup mind. We were joking yesterday. So Sarah's 6'2", right? I'm 5'5", which is like standard woman height. So we'll sit in something. I'm like, okay, is it comfortable for the husband? Is it comfortable for the wife, right? I mean, but it's great because then you can like, and that's not like proprietal, right? That's something that helps us all.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing that we do too is, a lot of many lines let you open individually, but other lines you have to either buy through a showroom, or there's a couple lines that we each have because we've had them for many years. So even just we like work to help each other, sort of get together to place an order, or I might have finished samples and Sarah might have different finished samples from a different line. So just kind of sharing that too, because library space is tight sometimes. So it's another just sort of way we like help each other grow and source and create.
Well, and I also think too, because of so Alexa and I have become very involved with the ASID New Jersey chapter, and last year we were determined to have an amazing DEA gala, and so we rounded up everybody that we possibly knew, have talked to become members, to come. We had a great event. It was huge. All of our friends came to support us, but then our reps came to support us. And the best part was hearing from them say, we're so glad we came because I had been trying to meet this person and we could never connect. It ended up becoming a really great networking event. Or I never thought I could find community like this. And so I think we believe so deeply that community and networking and bringing together of people is really how you survive in this industry and in life.
Yeah. Right. In life,
right?
Sure. Yes.
I think that's very interesting because I think so many times I hear ASID or networking, oh, they're just social events. Like, I have so much work to do. I'm so busy. So talk a little bit about, what you've gotten from these events beyond just the right person to talk to. I mean, I'm sure that either at the gala you maybe have gotten clients or word of mouth, or talk a little bit more about how these are more than just a social gathering.
So I would say, it's interesting. I had said that, there's no water cooler. I would say ASID New Jersey, the chapter that we've sort of brought into light over the past couple of years, is the water cooler, right? So it's this gathering of minds, of conversation. I found, from a couple of things. The continuing ed is great. Mm-hmm. There's things that you might not want to sit and listen to someone talk about Schluter, but it's actually important, right?
And interesting.
And interesting,
right? Like,
right?
I would never go do that on my own, but I could get a CEU for it. I'm going to go with my friends. And I was like, oh, shoot, that's actually really interesting.
Right. There's never, when you run your own business, there is never enough time to get anything done. Yeah. So to use that as an excuse, and I did it all. I've done it. I was like the queen of canceling. And actually, it's funny what you're saying about COVID. Post-COVID, I actually made a conscious choice to say yes to things that would take me out of my house, right? Yeah. Because we had been stuck in that freaking house for how many 2 years, it felt like. And in getting yourself out, there is always something you walk away with, whether it's a new contact, a familiar face that now I've seen you 3 times and we're going to talk about this. Something in common that you didn't know you had previous. And you never know from whence it's going to come, really. I mean, the connections, professionally, the offers from even vendors that now like who are supporting the chapter to really support the designer. Like I know those reps will go to bat for me. And that's who I'm going to buy from.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm always going to go, and any reps out there, that's who we're going to buy from, is someone who's going to pick up the phone, respond back, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry you had that issue with the light. I'm on it. Just so you know, if a claim has been filed, we're on it. We'll get back to you in the next, just like the customer service that our client is expecting from us is what we cherish.
Because we don't often have like a back end operational HR system, claims department, all of that. And so that is what you lean on your reps for. And it was interesting at dinner last night, we were having a conversation with some other reps who had been previous designers. And the consensus was the reps that you end up buying from are not the people that only come around when they hear you have a big project and then are nowhere to be found when something goes wrong or you've had a quiet year. The reps that you buy from are the people that actually make the effort to have a relationship with you and want to support you in your business, whether you can buy 2 table lamps that day or, 1 sofa that year or whatever it is, because when you have a relationship and people are supporting you, when you do have the big order, you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
Here's the whole house.
Yes.
Ready to go.
Yeah. And I think I joke. At market, and I brought my newest employee, and it's her first market, and she's like, oh, that looks like that. I'm like, right. A lot of things look alike. So we do, as designers, we have choices, right? I could buy from A or I can buy from B. And if my B rep is someone who is going to go to bat for me, I'm not even going to walk into A anymore because that's going to be my source for X, right? So I think that's something just that across the board, whether it's fabric, wallpaper, furniture, lighting, rugs, that we all have to kind of consider because rather than spread it all around, it's nice to have your really like your core, the groceries you buy every week, the same 7 things, right? I have my same 7 things. And then every once in a while I get a little, fish sauce. I don't know, something that you don't normally have on your grocery list, right?
Yeah.
But those are like more sparing. So that's our community and sort of the backbone of any small business. But for sure, for me, that's been true. So.